Let's start by asking this question. What kind of text do you need if you want to know about the Big Bang Theory, for example, or if you want to know about the ice melting caps in the Antarctica? What do you check? Of course, you're not going to check a fairy tale, right? So, what we're going to check is a kind of text that is based on evidence, more specifically on scientific evidence. So, in this video, we will talk about scientific texts, their structure, their purpose, and how we can identify causes and results in them. Let's find out how. So, what is a scientific text? Well, it is a text related to science or to the scientific language. It contains a very clear language and ordered sentences because its purpose is to communicate true information to be interpreted correctly by the reader or by the person who is to consult them. There are three types of scientific texts: argumentative, referential, and reports. An argumentative text has the purpose of proving and supporting a thesis with scientific evidence. The referential text, on the other hand, has to describe a phenomenon as clearly as possible. And the report has to describe in detail the time sequence or procedure of an event. Let's study each of them in detail. The argumentative text has two positions or two opinions, and they are against each other. It means that it contains two different points of view. The author, in this case, attacks the opponent's ideas or other people's ideas by providing evidence on what he or she thinks. In this case, the author tries to convince the reader that he or she is right about his or her opinions. When a text describes a phenomenon based on causes and effects, for example, the melting ice caps in the Antarctica or the creation of the universe, it must be a referential text. Here, the author does not give his opinion or show feelings about what he is describing. He is objective and he is as clear as possible. The last kind of scientific text is the report. In this text, an event is described, but here it follows a time sequence structure. For example, the phases of a lab experiment, step by step. I mean, step 1, step 2, step 3, and so on. Does a scientific text have a structure? Yes, it does, and here they are. For the introduction part, the writer presents the problem and aim of the study. This part serves as a guide to the reader, so he can get prepared for other parts of the text. In the development part, the writer gives the collected data to pursue readers for his or her argument. This part is a collection of samples and applications which are related to the subject of the text. In the conclusion part, the text is mainly related to the introduction and development parts. It's a summary of the study, and it includes the most relevant discoveries or information obtained during the case study. It also may include the impact of it on the author's professional life. In reports, for example, we can find that the conclusion can have three parts: the summary of the study, the results that are reached, and the assessment of the study. In other words, it's like to say if the thesis was proved to be true or not. In scientific texts, it's very common to find linking words and phrases that help us to know that something has occurred or that something is shown as a result. These linking words are as a result, therefore, as a consequence, thus, could result or could be, consequently, hence, for this reason, and due to. All of them are showing a relationship between cause and effect. The cause is previously mentioned, and then the effect is introduced by one of these phrases. Apart from these phrases, we can also use the first conditional. Remember, when we use if plus an action in the present or a condition in the present, and then it shows the result that it can have in the future using will or going to. So this kind of structure is also used in scientific texts to show the relationship between cause and effect.